Well, am I glad to see you, General. Did you miss me? It's good to be back in the chair again. I've had a lot to catch up on, and I'm afraid to say, so do you. Turns out, Domovoy has been operating from his ancestral castle right in the middle of the European Tempest Zone. I thought his place had been abandoned. Gets hard to breathe outside sometimes. You can't leave without a hazmat suit. But all the electronics are Tempest shielded. There is actually a pocket of low fallout due to the high concentration of Tempest fields. If we didn't know this was here, GDF surely won't. Looks like he'd been preparing this place for a while. Domovoy, what do you make of him? He seems more awake than I was expecting. I don't know, but he led the dynasty right from the start. We would have nothing if not for him. Alex is unhappy with him, and I mean, can you blame him? But I follow Alex, and right now, Alex is taking advice from his father. As for what he's planning, he wants the best for the dynasty, our land, and our Tempest. As far as the rest of the dynasty knows, nothing. He's still broadcasting his messages of assurance back at Dynasty HQ once he got back to his office. Says there has been an attempt on his life, but that he survived it. Blames GDF rats for the attack. You're right. We should get back to it. We've been watching the detonation site for anything. The Tempest has responded to the fallout. A little faster than expected.
Signal unstable. Data burst interrupted. GDF holds some of the Dynasty's experimental Tempest-based weaponry in this region, taken during a raid on a nearby base. The research must be reacquired before GDF can replicate it. Be advised, General, I am collating data points on GDF movements. GDF appear to be suffering heavy losses across the map that the Dynasty cannot account for. Proceed with extreme caution.
Came out of nowhere.
Those creatures, whatever they are your enemy, General. But let GDF handle them. GDF acquired vital dynasty research, and have been holding it here while they attempt to understand it. GDF are deeply entrenched in this region. This is their only chance to take it back. Locate and capture their satellite uplink. We need to know where the research is being kept.
As you will. Out! On my way. Airstrikes incoming. GDF are throwing everything they've got at them. Yes, General. Of course. On my way. Out! Becoming epicenter. I'm going. As you will. Yes, General. my way. Out. Of course. Yes, General. As you will. Yes, General. Out.
Reinforcements have arrived.
On my way. Of course. I'm going. Tempest physicist. As you will. Yes, General. I designed German. On my way. Out. My General. Of course. As you will. These creatures, they must be linked to the Tempest somehow. I'm ready. On my way. Yes, General. I'm going. Out. I'm going. As you will.
Satellite uplink located ahead. Proceed with extreme caution.
Where is the fun in that?
Of course. As you will. On my way. Yes, General.
Where shall I put these? Prep for launch!
Physicists on the field.
She's very good one. Location received. Candle slick. Moving out. Loud and clean.
Combat scientist. Leave it to me. I have eyes on set uplink. The gift of the Tempest. Airstrike inbound. Applying heat. I designed her myself. Calculating vector. What do we have? I'm going. Out. As you will. Yes, General. On my way. Of course. Physicists on the field. On my way. Yes, General. Unstoppable. Out. As you will.
Prime. Secure uplink established. Data transfer initialized. Dynasty technology has been located. Addresses traced. Coordinates incoming. General, we're looking at a GDF garrison. Comms went dark when this aggressor attacked. Take the garrison and secure the data core. GDF are calling them the Veti. I'm getting data from GDF scopes on their movements and... Complete your mission, General. Dynasty HQ may be next.
Out. Yes, General. On my way. As you will. Of course. On my way. As you will.
The Dynasty's weapon. You want more?
I'm going. Out. Yes, General. I'm going. Of course. Out. My General. As you will. On my way. Yes, General. As you will. Exclusion zone. On me. Of course. I'm ready. I'm going. Out. Of course. Yes, General. I'm going. As you will. Weapon live. On my way. Yes, General. As you will. Out. Of course. I'm going. Of course. On my way. I am the effect.
shall I put this? Received, General.
Yes, General. Of course. Out. I'm going. As you will. Yes, General. On my way. As you will. Of course. Out. Yes, General. I'm going. The gift of the Tempest. Yes, General. On my way. Calculating vector. As you will. Of course. Discharging. Out. On my way. I'm going. As you will. Of course. Yes, General. I'm going. Of course. Out. On my way. As you will. Of course. On my way. I'm going. Yes, General. Out. On my way. Leave them to me. I'm going. Yes, General. Of course. As you will. I'm going. Yes, General. Out. Unstoppable. Weapon live. Of course. I am the effect. On my way. Leave them to me. Calculating vector. Of course. Out. I'm going. As you will. Yes, General. Out. Let's open.
Tell me. Igniting. Going. Beautiful destruction.
I'm going. What do we have? Of course. On my way. As you will. The gift of the Tempest. Of course. Out. Discharging. I'm going. Leave them to me. I am the effect. Yes, General.
The Dynasty's weapon. Yes.
Missile launcher. Launch sequence engaged.
I designed her myself. My General. On my way. Yes, General. I'm going. Of course. Out. As you will. I'm going. Out. Yes, General. Of course. On my way. The gift of the Tempest. Physicists on the field. I'm going. Out. General. On my way. Of course. As you will. Out.
Ready, General. Siege weapon ready.
Tempest physicist. Calculating vector. I am the effect. Unstoppable. Weapon live. The gift of the Tempest. Discharging. Leave it to me. I am the effect. I'm going. Yes, General. Out. Calculating vector. I'm ready. As you will. Of course.
Fascinating. The way they harness the Tempest. They are centuries ahead of our current understanding. The Dynasty's research must only be scratching the surface. Their biology is alien to me, but I don't think the Tempest is a part of them. Do they even come from the same place?
Out.
Ready, General. Lighting rockets. Set a ruse.
My General. I'm going. Yes, General. Of course. On my way. As you will. Of course. Yes, General. Out. I'm going. Of course. The gift of the Tempest. Out. Yes, General.
Standing by for launch. Visors down.
Physicists on the field. On my way. Discharging. Unstoppable. As you will. Yes, General. On my way. I'm going. Out. Of course. I'm going. On my way. Out. Weapon live.
It's the Dynasty. What are they doing here? GDF left to fight the invader, but they're getting overrun. We'll hold up here.
If you can fight, get ready. The Dynasty will not abandon civilians.
You got it. Get us to safety, and we'll fight for you.
Out. Leave him to me. Yes, General. On my way. I'm going. Yes, General. Of course. On my way. Out. As you will. I'm going. Out. On my way. Of course.
Files transferring. It's all here, but they've been tampering with my research. I have the files, and I've located our weapons research. Sending control codes to your command uplink. The Voltaic tanks is the Dynasty's finest in terms of raw firepower. I think it could use some field testing.
Excellent work, General. Confirm the research reacquired. Your extraction point is a civilian airport. Sending you coordinates now. Fight your way there. Don't let anything stand in your path. Constructing.
Charged and ready. She's been a good one.
Reinforcements have arrived.
In transit. Location set. Relocating payload.
Specialists under attack.
I'm ready. The gift of the Tempest. Of course. Tempest physicist.
Standing by for launch. Set the rules!
Constructing.
In transit. Location set.
Construction complete.
All right. Moving.
I designed her myself. Out! As you will. On my way.
Training. Training. Constructing.
Pre-check. You have something for me?
Unit ready.
My general.
Ready.
Constructing. Unit ready.
Tools ready. No problem.
Construction complete. Training.
Sir? Engineering. Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Construction complete.
I'm going. Out!
Unit ready.
On my way. Of course.
Unit ready.
Engineering.
Unit ready. Constructing.
What do we have? Yes, General. Unstoppable. Calculating vector. As you will. Out. On my way. I'm going. Of course. Yes, General. On my way.
On the lookout. Location set.
I am the effect. As you will. Out.
Tools ready. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Sir? No problem.
Tempest physicist. I'm going. Of course. On my way. Out. As you will. Yes, General. I'm going. Of course. Yes, General. As you will. Out. On my way. Yes, General.
Insufficient funds.
Loud and clear, Command. Let's go.
Physicists on the
Training.
Moving over.
Tools ready.
I'm ready. Of course. Out. Yes, General. I'm going. Calculating vector. On my way.
Where shall I put these? Target locked. Location cleared.
Leave it to me. Combat scientist.
Ready for battle.
I designed that myself.
Good day.
My general. Weapon line. Unstoppable. Out.
Ready, General. Home sequencing in. Taking position.
Yes, General.
Missile launcher.
What do we have?
Unit ready.
She's been a good one, this old girl.
Tempest physicist.
I have the payload. Missiles priming.
Physicists on the field. The gift of the Tempest.
Unit ready.
Of course.
Punching in vector.
Unit ready.
Tempest physicist discharging. On my way.
Construction complete.
Leave it to me. I'm going. Weapon line. On my way.
Siege weapon ready. Punching in vector.
Combat scientist.
Unit ready.
Out.
Unit ready.
Yes, General. As you will. Yes, General.
Set it loose.
Unit ready.
I designed her myself. Unstoppable. Of course.
Unit ready.
Leave it to me. The gift of the Tempest.
Unit ready.
Discharging. Weapon line. Calculating vector.
Unit ready.
Weapon line. I am the effect. Unstoppable.
Unit ready.
What do we have? On my way. Out.
Unit ready.
I'm going. The gift of the Tempest. Discharging.
Unit ready. Unit is under attack.
I'm ready. As you will. Unstoppable.
Unit ready.
I am the effect. Discharge.
Unit ready.
The gift of the Tempest. On my way. My general.
Unit is under attack.
Got it. Roger that.
Yes, sir.
Style, control, damage, and aggression. What do you need? Take it.
Calculating vector. Weapon line. Discharging.
Engineering.
Physicists on the field, as you will. On my way. I'm going.
Unit ready.
Unstoppable.
Ready, sir.
Training.
I'm ready.
Unit ready. Unit ready. Training. Unit is under attack.
Out. Tempest physicist.
Unit ready.
Spinning her up.
Training. Training. Unit ready. Constructing.
Tools ready.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Engineering. Affirmative.
What do we have?
Construction complete.
Where shall I put these? Lighting rockets.
I designed that myself.
Unit ready.
Calculating vector.
Unit ready.
Unstoppable. Out. I'm going. On my way. Yes, General.
Unit ready.
Just standing by.
Technician. Yes, General. Get the defenses ready. Sure thing. Just get me there.
Building captured.
What do we have? Out! As you will. Of course. I'm going. Yes, General. On my way. I'm going.
Our base is under attack.
I am the attack.
Our base is under attack.
Unstoppable. Weapon live. Calculating vector.
Siege weapon lining.
Is under attack.
Combat scientist. Discharging. Fleeing. Of course. As you will. Discharging. Unstoppable. The gift of the Tempest. Out. I'm going. As you will. Of course. Yes, General. On my way. As you will. Of course.
Caution. Enemy forces possess overwhelming firepower. Do not engage.
I'm going. Out.
Airstrikes incoming. GDF are throwing everything we've got at them.
I'm going. As you will. I am the attack. Discharging. Fleeing. Unstoppable. Of course. On my way. I'm going. Yes, General. Out. As you will. I'm going. Calculating vectors. Yes, General. Out. Of course. On my way. As you will. Weapon live. I am the attack. Of course. Yes, General. Out. I'm going. Yes, General. On my way. Out. Unstoppable. As you will. Of course. I'm going. On my way. Yes, General. Out.
I'm reading more waves of the enemy approaching fast across the Med. Get your troops out before they take the whole region. Good work, General.